Have you ever wondered if the afterlife is truly just a passive waiting game, a sort of cosmic limbo where souls simply drift, awaiting some unknown judgment or next assignment? Or could it be something more, a realm of active participation and deliberate choice? It is easy to imagine spirits as ethereal beings floating through an infinite void, but what if the reality is that they are actively choosing their next life experiences and the very soulmates that will accompany them on their journey? We are taught that spirits are chosen, carefully selected for their next incarnation, but what if this is not the full picture? What if spirits, in fact, make active choices about their lives, carefully orchestrating their families, challenges, and opportunities? This is not a passive process. It is a cosmic planning session where the soul, with full awareness, maps out the next chapter of its evolutionary journey. Souls don't wait, they choose. They review past lives, identify areas of needed growth, and select the perfect conditions for their next experience, forming soul contracts with other spirits who are also planning their next path. Understanding this fundamental truth is critical because it redefines how we view our current life experiences, especially our relationships. What if your current circumstances are not random and your soul deliberately chose them? What if these are not coincidences but are carefully selected experiences for your own growth? If this is true, then the conventional idea of fate as a fixed, unchangeable path would be incorrect. Instead, this truth suggests that our lives are a dynamic landscape shaped by choices made on both the spiritual and physical planes. By understanding the process of soul choices, you can unlock a deeper understanding of your life's purpose and even begin to understand the nature of your challenging relationships. No longer are you a victim of fate, you are an active co-creator of your destiny. This knowledge empowers you to take personal ownership of your spiritual journey. To understand this concept of soul choice, we must first explore the true nature of the soul. It is not something that is born and then dies, but rather a continuing stream of consciousness that experiences life through multiple incarnations. Each life is merely a chapter in a much larger story. Within this eternal journey, we come to understand that karmic agreements and soul contracts are not imposed upon the soul, but instead are proactive arrangements made by the soul to learn and grow. These contracts are made with an intimate understanding of cause and effect, where every experience, every relationship is a direct result of choices made on both spiritual and physical levels. What you choose in the spiritual world will always play out in the physical one. This pre-life planning directly affects the nature of relationships and opportunities you experience in your day-to-day life. So how exactly do spirits choose their soulmates? And why are some connections incredibly rewarding while others seem to only offer challenges? The true dynamics of the afterlife differ greatly from popular conceptions. It is not a waiting room or a place of judgment, but rather a realm of active decision-making, where the soul analyzes the needs of its journey and then selects the perfect scenarios to meet its unique goals. Remember the Hermetic principle, as above, so below, which reveals that the spiritual plane mirrors the physical. The patterns seen in the spiritual world can offer a template for understanding your own life. In the next section, we will delve into esoteric principles from ancient mystery schools and texts, revealing the mechanics of this planning process and how to apply it to your own life. To truly understand how a spirit chooses its next soulmate, we must first explore the mechanics of soul planning, beginning with the Akashic Records, a vast cosmic library that contains the entirety of all past, present, and future events. Imagine this record as a multi-dimensional database, where every thought, action, and experience of every soul is meticulously stored, not as simple data, but as a living, breathing tapestry of consciousness. This is where spirits journey after physical death, accessing the full spectrum of their past incarnations, reviewing the choices they made and the lessons they learned. This is not a passive viewing, but an active process of analysis, where the soul seeks to understand its patterns, its triumphs, and more importantly, its unresolved challenges. The Akashic Records are not simply a static archive, but a dynamic space of reflection and decision-making, where the soul can interact with its past experiences to chart the course of its future. Within this realm, the spirit is not a passive observer, but an active participant, carefully curating its next chapter with a complete understanding of what it seeks to achieve. It is within this space that the active choice of future soulmates is made, not through some random selection process, but via conscious intention and a deep understanding of karmic ties. Within the Akashic records, a soul begins the process of reviewing its previous incarnations, not as a detached observer, but as a deeply engaged participant. Think of it as a comprehensive life review where the soul revisits its experiences, focusing intently on recurring patterns, unresolved conflicts, and areas of desired growth. It is as if the soul is a meticulous detective, examining every clue to uncover the hidden dynamics of its journey. For example, if a soul consistently found itself in relationships where it felt suppressed, it would analyze the underlying causes, pinpointing the beliefs, fears, and karmic patterns that fueled those experiences. It would review the exact moments of conflict, the subtle power dynamics, and the emotional undercurrents of those interactions, not to dwell on the negative, but to extract the lessons and understand how to approach such situations differently in the future. This review is not a judgment, but a careful assessment of learning opportunities. It is a clear-eyed look at the soul's past to fully understand its present and potential future. This thorough analysis becomes the blueprint for the soul's next incarnation, carefully selecting the perfect scenarios and soulmates to facilitate further expansion. Central to this planning process is the concept of karmic debt, which is often misunderstood as a punishment. Instead, karmic debt can be reframed as an opportunity for healing and mutual evolution. Think of it like a cosmic balancing act, where the soul seeks to correct past imbalances by deliberately creating future experiences that offer a chance for resolution. A soul might choose to incarnate with a soulmate with whom it had previously experienced conflict, not as an act of punishment, but as an opportunity to transform the relationship into one of mutual understanding and growth. For example, in a past life, two souls might have been locked in a power struggle as rivals, and in the next, they might choose to incarnate as partners or close friends to learn the lessons of collaboration and mutual respect. This is not a path of retribution, but one of intentional healing. These scenarios are selected by the souls for the purpose of spiritual refinement. The soul chooses not to repeat patterns of the past, but to transform them. This is why some relationships appear so challenging. They are often a deliberate arrangement for accelerating spiritual growth and moving beyond old patterns, creating the basis for a much deeper level of understanding. The selection process for a soul's next relationships also involves the concept of soul families, where spirits often choose to incarnate in groups, with pre-existing agreements and shared karmic ties. These are not just romantic soulmates, but include family members, close friends, and even mentors, all bound together by a web of mutual experiences and shared goals. Imagine a group of musicians, each playing a different instrument, but coming together to create a single, harmonious symphony. This is how soul families function. Each soul within this group plays a unique role in the larger orchestration of experiences, providing opportunities for mutual learning and growth. For example, a soul might choose to incarnate as a child of a specific family in order to learn the lessons of patience and unconditional love, while also providing an opportunity for the parents to confront their own challenges. These agreements are not limited to romantic relationships, but extend to all significant connections in your life. These pre-existing agreements are often the basis of why you feel so close to certain people, even when first meeting them, because your souls already have history together. Moving beyond the romantic ideal of soulmates, it's important to acknowledge that these connections are not always about finding the perfect partner, but are instead about growth. Often these relationships can manifest as teacher-student dynamics, where one soul serves as a guide for the other, or as mentor-mentee connections, where one soul offers wisdom and support to another. However, some of the most profound soulmate connections are found in relationships that are challenging and difficult, presenting opportunities to confront shadow aspects of oneself. Think of a blacksmith's forge, where the intense heat and pressure shape and refine the metal. This is how a challenging soulmate connection functions, pushing you to your limits, exposing your deepest fears, and demanding that you confront the parts of yourself that you have long tried to avoid. These connections are not accidental, but carefully chosen by the soul to catalyze transformation, accelerate personal growth, and create new levels of understanding. These are the relationships that force you to look inward, to confront your own shortcomings, and to develop new strategies for navigating the complexities of life. These relationships, though difficult, often bring about the greatest leaps in spiritual growth. These types of challenging soulmate connections are specifically designed to help you confront shadow aspects of yourself, the parts of yourself you'd prefer to keep hidden, creating a type of accelerated growth through difficulty. It is like taking a crash course in self-awareness, where the intensity of the relationship acts as a catalyst for deep inner work. For instance, a soul might choose a connection with someone who triggers their deepest insecurities, such as abandonment or inadequacy. This is not a cruel trick of fate, but a deliberate choice made by the soul to confront and heal those insecurities. These relationships are mirrors that reflect back our deepest fears, providing an opportunity to confront them with courage and compassion. These experiences, however painful, are not meant to be endured, but to be transformed. Through facing the friction of these difficult connections, one gains deeper self-awareness and learns to transmute personal challenges into a wellspring of inner strength. These challenging relationships can be the most powerful accelerators of spiritual evolution, though they are not always the most pleasant. Consider the common notion of love at first sight, which is often portrayed as a purely emotional or romantic reaction. However, from an esoteric perspective, this feeling might be a resonance with a deep soul agreement, the recognition of a shared history, or a pro-life connection made on the spiritual plane. Think of it as a tuning fork, vibrating in harmony with another, not just because of physical attraction or shared interests, but because of a pre-existing arrangement made long ago. This feeling of instant recognition isn't just a chemical reaction, but is instead a remembrance of a bond that predates this lifetime. It's the echo of a promise made, of a shared journey that continues across incarnations. This recognition serves as a powerful reminder that these connections are not random, they are purposeful and intentional. The immediate resonance one might feel with a new acquaintance can be a clue, not just a random feeling, but instead as a glimpse into the depths of your soul's story. This viewpoint reinterprets a common romantic idea through the lens of pro-life agreements, adding layers of meaning to what may have appeared as only a superficial experience. As we begin to bridge the spiritual with the practical, we can start to understand that recognizing patterns in your current relationships can help illuminate your pro-life agreements. What can you learn from the dynamics of the relationships you're currently experiencing? Are there any recurring themes, any consistent patterns of behavior that seem to follow you from one connection to the next? For example, if you consistently find yourself in relationships where you feel like you're sacrificing your own needs for the benefit of others, this might be a reflection of a pro-life agreement to learn the lessons of healthy boundaries and self-love. It could be that you're replaying karmic patterns that are asking to be resolved. These relationships serve as a mirror, reflecting back to you what you need to address within yourself. Recognizing these patterns is the first step to understanding the deeper dynamics of your soul's journey and the choices you made before incarnating. By observing how you interact with others, you can begin to decode your soul's intentions and start making more conscious choices in the present, bringing a higher level of awareness to your past choices. To further this understanding, let us explore the esoteric frameworks that underpin the nature of soul choices, starting with the Hermetic principle, as above, so below. This timeless wisdom reveals that the macrocosm, the spiritual realms, mirrors the microcosm, the physical reality, revealing deep patterns in soulmate connections and life events. The choices that a soul makes in the afterlife are not isolated events, but are mirrored and played out in the physical world, as if the spiritual and the physical are different expressions of the same core design. This idea suggests that the challenges and opportunities you face in this life are not random occurrences, but rather the direct manifestation of choices made on the spiritual plane, aligning with your soul's intentions. For example, if a soul chooses to learn the lessons of forgiveness, it may choose to incarnate with a soulmate who presents significant challenges, thereby creating the perfect conditions for learning and practicing forgiveness. This principle is not only about how the spiritual impacts the physical, but how your actions in the physical world impact the spiritual, creating a type of feedback loop that continually evolves. The universe provides the framework, and you provide the experiences. This concept provides a vital understanding that the choices we make in all realms are not isolated, but interconnected. Another principle that shapes soul choice is the law of vibration, as outlined in the Kybalion, an ancient text of Hermetic principles. This law suggests that everything is in constant motion, vibrating at different frequencies, influencing soul resonance and the types of soulmates a spirit will attract, like attracts like. This is not only true in the physical world, but also in the spiritual one, where souls vibrating at similar frequencies are drawn to each other. Souls choose soulmates based on their resonant frequencies, seeking out connections that mirror their own unique vibration. For example, a soul vibrating with courage and a willingness to face challenges will naturally gravitate towards other souls who are also aligned with these qualities. On the other hand, a soul vibrating with fear and doubt may attract connections that amplify these insecurities, providing more opportunities to confront and transform these limiting patterns. This law also explains why some relationships feel so effortless and natural, while others are fraught with tension. The law of vibration underscores that your energy attracts similar energy, and that these patterns extend all the way from your conscious mind into the choices you make on the spiritual plane. Building upon this, the concept of the pleroma from Gnosticism can be understood as a realm of spiritual reality that serves as a type of planning room for the soul before incarnation. The pleroma, which means fullness in Greek, represents a realm of perfect spiritual completeness and is often regarded as the highest realm that souls can access. Here, souls contemplate and make choices before descending into the physical world, not as a place of rest, but as an area of active analysis and planning. Imagine this as a type of cosmic think tank, where souls collaborate and develop strategies for their upcoming incarnations, carefully evaluating the experiences they wish to embody and the specific types of relationships that will serve their journey. This process is not random or accidental, but is instead deliberate and highly intentional. Within the pleroma, the soul has access to all knowledge, all past lives, and all potential futures, giving them the insight and ability to carefully select the best possible path. The choices that are made in the pleroma are not simply ideas or wishes, but are actually blueprints for the life that will be lived. To further illuminate the nature of a soul's journey, we can look to the Kabbalistic tree of life as a map of the soul's spiritual evolution. This ancient diagram outlines the stages of spiritual growth and transformation that a soul may choose to experience. Imagine the tree of life as a type of cosmic roadmap, showing different pathways and challenges that can lead to higher levels of awareness and consciousness. Each sphere, known as a sephira, represents a different aspect of spiritual growth, from the physical realm to the most divine and transcendent, offering unique lessons and learning opportunities. Souls navigate the tree of life in each lifetime, choosing different pathways based on what they need to learn and what they hope to achieve, with some choosing to focus on the lower spheres of the material world, while others seek the higher spheres of spiritual illumination. This map reveals that the choices made before incarnation are not random, but are rather part of a highly organized system for supporting spiritual evolution. It also underscores that the soul actively participates in its journey, selecting the type of experiences it needs in order to fulfill its potential and the relationships that will serve to accelerate its growth. We must now reinterpret the concept of destiny by understanding it's not a fixed path, but a series of potential pathways influenced by the choices a soul makes in both the spirit and physical realms. Destiny is not a predetermined script, but a landscape of possibilities shaped by the conscious actions of the soul. Think of it like a choose-your-own-adventure book, where each choice leads to new possibilities, creating a different storyline. The soul charts the course of its journey, choosing the major themes and relationships it wishes to experience, but how it navigates those experiences depends on the choices it makes in each moment. This means you are the architect of your own life, and not merely a character following a script written by someone else. This perspective allows a new appreciation of the concept of free will, revealing that every choice, no matter how small, has the power to shape your destiny. Destiny is the result of an ongoing dialogue between your soul's intentions and your actions in the physical world. Souls don't just choose experiences, but also the specific lessons they need to learn, including the specific types of challenges and opportunities that are aligned with karmic needs. This means a soul might intentionally choose to experience difficult scenarios, not as a form of punishment, but as a way to accelerate its spiritual growth. For example, a soul might choose to experience betrayal in order to learn the lessons of forgiveness and compassion. This choice is not made out of some desire to suffer, but as an act of intentional growth, selecting experiences that are aligned with the highest good. These are the types of choices that propel you out of comfort zones and challenge you to evolve. These difficult scenarios are perfect catalysts for developing resilience and deepening understanding, pushing the soul out of its old patterns and into greater levels of awareness and mastery. The challenges you face are not mistakes or missteps on the path. They are specific learning experiences that have been chosen to help you evolve. Let's begin to weave the modern with the ancient by relating the psychological concepts of attachment styles to deeper karmic patterns, acknowledging that these patterns can be addressed through conscious awareness. For example, individuals who exhibit an anxious attachment style might find themselves drawn to relationships that mirror the karmic patterns of needing validation or fearing abandonment, stemming from previous life experiences. These patterns are not random, but rather a reflection of deep-seated karmic dynamics. This understanding reveals that psychological challenges are not merely the result of upbringing and past trauma, but are also deeply intertwined with a soul's history. These psychological patterns can be seen as opportunities for healing and growth, offering insights into the karmic dynamics that need to be addressed to move towards more fulfilling and conscious relationships. Recognizing that these patterns have deep roots not only offers understanding, but the ability to rewrite your relational story. As we transition into the practical, it's vital to remember that understanding these esoteric frameworks is not just an academic exercise, but it's a practical guide to understanding your current karmic patterns and relationships, and that this knowledge can be a powerful tool for creating change in your daily experience. These patterns provide a window into the pre-life choices you have made and provide key insights into your soul's intentions. By recognizing the underlying karmic agreements and soul contracts that govern these dynamics, you can begin to make conscious choices to change or strengthen these bonds. This information is a roadmap for transforming your most challenging connections into the most meaningful areas of personal growth, offering a unique perspective on how you approach relationships from this day forward. This is not meant to be passive information, but is designed to activate transformation in your life. Adding a deeper layer of mystery, consider that some souls choose to forget their pre-life agreements, not as a mistake, but in order to maximize the impact of learning, allowing a more authentic experience to unfold. The amnesia of pre-life contracts isn't a cosmic error, but a design element, a way for you to fully immerse yourself in this human experience. This is why life is often so unpredictable, so challenging, and so full of unexpected twists and turns. This state of forgetfulness creates a veil, allowing the lessons of life to hit with full force, not dulled by the memory of planning the path. Think of it as a type of dramatic suspense, where the soul chooses to step into the unknown. This amnesia creates a blank canvas, ensuring that every choice, every connection, and every challenge is experienced without the interference of preconceived expectations. This perspective transforms the nature of forgetfulness from a potential flaw to an intentional aspect of your soul's design. To further increase the tension, it's important to recognize that ignorance of these principles can lead to feeling trapped in repetitive patterns. If you are unaware of your pre-life agreements, you may find yourself recreating the same challenging dynamics time and time again, like a record skipping in the same place. Without an understanding of your soul's choices, you might feel as though your relationships are driven by fate and not your own intentions. This feeling of being trapped is a call to action, a signal that it is time to awaken to the deeper dynamics of your journey. The repetitive patterns, the constant challenges, are not meaningless, but are in fact invitations to explore the hidden layers of your soul's story. By understanding the root causes of these repeating patterns, you can break free from the cycle of unconscious repetition and actively begin creating new and more fulfilling experiences. This isn't just theoretical information, but is a practical guide to breaking free from the feeling of being trapped. Reinforcing our spiritual to practical pattern, this knowledge is not just an interesting theory, but a practical guide for recognizing soul contracts and making conscious choices to change or strengthen these bonds. These principles provide tools that can allow you to understand the deeper dynamics of your most challenging and rewarding relationships. By understanding these patterns, you can actively make decisions guided by your intentions and change the course of your most difficult connections. These ideas aren't just for spiritual contemplation, but for activation within your daily life. These steps are not only for self-reflection, but for active change in all of your current and future connections. This shift from theory to practice provides you with a clear and actionable path to consciously take control of your connections and life experiences. In our next section, you will discover practical techniques for aligning your current choices with your soul's intentions, empowering you to actively shape your relationships and to begin creating the life that your soul has always desired. This isn't just passive information, but a guide for how you can take control of the direction of your soul's journey and begin building the fulfilling connections that you have always sought, making these esoteric principles directly relevant to your life. The journey of a soul after death is not one of passive waiting, but an active engagement in the creation of its own reality. Spirits are not merely observing the cosmos, but are instead co-creating their experiences, actively choosing the scenarios and relationships that will best serve their growth. This process, often referred to as pre-birth planning, reveals that souls are not victims of fate, but are instead the architects of their own journey. Think of it as a writer carefully crafting the plot of a story, deliberately selecting characters, challenges, and plot twists to achieve a specific message. Just as a writer uses intention to create a world on paper, souls use their consciousness and will to manifest their next experience on Earth. This understanding completely shifts the perception of life as something happening to you into a conscious creation where you are deeply involved in crafting the experiences you need to learn. From this perspective, you are not a victim, but a conscious co-creator of your own life. Souls utilize their intention and consciousness as a type of energetic magnet, attracting specific scenarios and opportunities that are intended for learning and growth. This is not a random or haphazard process, but is instead a precise mechanism guided by the law of attraction. As the Kybalion teaches, everything is in a state of vibration, and like attracts like, meaning that souls with similar energetic frequencies are drawn together to fulfill specific karmic agreements. This is a principle that operates beyond the conscious mind, extending all the way to the choices made on the spiritual level. Souls aren't simply hopping to learn lessons, they actively create the exact circumstances that make the most sense for their personal and spiritual evolution. This goes beyond simply thinking positive thoughts and hopping for the best. It's a deep and intentional process of aligning your energy with the experiences you need at the soul level. This understanding reinterprets the conventional belief that we are guided by higher powers, showing that this guidance comes from the soul itself and its deeply aligned choices. This is not about surrendering your power to an external force, but accepting the authority of your own inner wisdom, revealing that the so-called guidance is simply the soul's intention directing its own path. We are not being led by some external force, but rather guiding ourselves through a carefully curated experience. Imagine that you are both the cartographer and the explorer, creating the map and then embarking on the journey. This shift in perspective moves away from a view of being controlled by fate and moves towards self-directed evolution, recognizing the inner authority you carry within your own soul. This is not fate, but conscious choice at its highest level. Let us now explore how to interpret your current life as a reflection of pre-life soul agreements. Consider your current experiences, the relationships and challenges you face. These are not accidents, but rather manifestations of choices that you made before incarnation. Every situation, every interaction is an echo of past choices made on the spiritual plane, offering a chance to understand the intentions you had for this life. Recurring themes in your life, such as certain relationship patterns, are not coincidences. They are clues to understanding your pre-life agreements, revealing the hidden dynamics at play. The challenges you face in relationships are not simply random events, but are the echoes of past choices made in the spirit world. These are the areas where you are being asked to grow the most. Recurring themes in your relationships often signify specific soul agreements, showing the deeper karmic dynamics that are at play, serving as vital clues to the lessons you are here to learn. For example, if you consistently find yourself in relationships where you feel abandoned or unheard, this is not a random misfortune, but a sign of pre-existing agreements intended for growth. Instead of seeing these patterns as simply negative experiences, view them as a type of curriculum designed for your soul's growth, asking you to resolve these patterns in new and conscious ways. These patterns are not meant to be endless cycles of suffering, but rather opportunities to finally understand and heal the underlying karmic wounds. These are the patterns that need to be addressed for you to move forward. Difficult relationships, often seen as a source of pain, are in fact opportunities for mutual healing, revealing the depth of your soul agreements. These relationships, which may appear as negative experiences on the surface, often contain the most valuable lessons for your growth. They are not a sign of failure or a lack of worthiness, but instead, a carefully designed setup to help you transcend old patterns. These are not random accidents, but instead, intentionally designed opportunities for accelerating your spiritual evolution. This new perspective allows a reinterpretation of difficult situations as a chance to learn and grow instead of just feeling victimized. These relationships were chosen for a reason, and that reason is to help you evolve. This understanding empowers the viewer, as you can see that you are not at the mercy of circumstances, but instead are the active creator of your experience, giving you the capacity to reshape your path. This shift in perspective moves away from a passive experience of life and into the understanding that your choices are shaping your journey. By understanding these patterns, you become proactive in reshaping your path, instead of being reactive to external circumstances. This provides the basis for taking control of your spiritual growth, choosing new pathways, and intentionally creating a more fulfilling experience going forward. The key to understanding this is to begin to view your life through the lens of choice, rather than being a victim of circumstance. We can now explore some practical techniques for intentionally creating your own reality, using specific hermetic principles as a method for influencing your future and rewriting past agreements. As stated in the Kybalion, reality can be influenced by manipulating mental, physical, and spiritual energies, empowering you to be an active participant in the creation of your experience. This is not merely wishful thinking, but a deliberate application of universal laws that govern the nature of reality itself. By taking advantage of this law, you are able to consciously influence your own path and rewrite past contracts. This is not about passively hoping for change, but actively creating the reality you seek. Visualization, a powerful hermetic technique, can be used to manifest specific relationships that are more aligned with your soul's purpose, using the law of mentalism as a tool for influencing your reality. This involves creating a clear mental picture of the relationships you desire, focusing not just on the details, but on the feeling that comes with having those connections already in your life. By doing this, you are directly communicating your desires to the universe and aligning yourself with the experience you wish to manifest. This is not just daydreaming, but a powerful and intentional method of creation. This process of using your mental energy will bring new and aligned experiences into your life. The law of correspondence, as above, so below, further clarifies that your inner state of being is directly mirrored in your external experiences, bridging the spiritual and the practical. This means that your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs are not merely internal states, but are direct influences on the reality you experience. If you are constantly thinking negative thoughts, then your experience will be negative as well. Conversely, if your inner world is aligned with positivity and love, then the same will be reflected back to you. By understanding that your inner world shapes your outer world, you can begin to consciously choose the experiences that you manifest and create a different path for your life. This is about aligning yourself with the experiences you truly desire. By consciously aligning your actions with universal principles, you are no longer a passive actor reacting to external forces, but a conscious co-creator of your own life, taking on full responsibility for your journey. This transition from reaction to creation is an essential component of your spiritual evolution as you take control of your destiny. This means that you are actively shaping your life rather than simply being shaped by it. This perspective allows a new level of control and empowerment in the most practical sense. This is about recognizing your role as the conscious creator of your own path. To understand the ways you might be limiting yourself, you must use self-reflection as a means for identifying karmic patterns and attachments that are hindering spiritual growth, allowing you to initiate transformation by identifying and addressing the source of these blockages. This process involves a deep and honest look at yourself to begin to reveal areas of your shadow self and their connections to karmic attachments, leading you to understand what you may be trying to avoid. By asking specific questions such as, what patterns do I consistently repeat, or what are my deepest fears? You can uncover the hidden dynamics that drive your experiences and learn the reasons for these limitations. The process of self-reflection is the first step in transforming your challenges into strengths. Meditation is a vital tool that will help you access your inner wisdom, which will allow you to understand the purpose of difficult relationships and uncover the soul lessons embedded in your experiences. By quieting the mind, you can connect directly with your intuition and receive guidance from your soul, gaining insights that are not available through the rational mind. This will help to move past the limitations of the mental self and connect with your deeper knowing. This is about moving past your mental construct and into your spiritual awareness. The practice of meditation opens pathways to higher wisdom. True transformation comes through the application of self-compassion and understanding, as your karmic contracts are an agreement between you and your own soul. This approach removes the aspect of judgment from the experience and begins to see these as learning opportunities, creating a more expansive approach to your life. It is about shifting your perspective from victim to student and understanding that these experiences are here to support your growth. This is about self-acceptance and understanding rather than shame or blame. The deeper you can go with self-compassion, the more quickly you will transform your experiences. The healing of past wounds creates the potential to consciously influence your future relationships and karmic connections, understanding that you are not just letting go, but instead actively choosing new pathways. By forgiving yourself and others, you can rewrite past contracts, creating new possibilities based on choice instead of karmic obligation. This perspective reveals that you have the power to create the types of experiences you want going forward, removing any feeling of obligation to the past. This process creates the potential for manifesting new relationships that are based on free choice and conscious intention, and removing the need to repeat patterns from the past. This is the practical application of forgiveness. As we bring these concepts full circle, we must recognize that work on inner spiritual concepts will inevitably reflect and manifest in your external relationships, bringing the inner into the outer. This means that your inner world is not separate from your outer world, but instead, the two are in constant communication. This is not just spiritual theory, it is an actionable framework that guides you into creating more fulfilling experiences. When your inner work transforms the external world, it highlights a direct link to the law of correspondence, showing how these principles work together to form experience. This is about making sure all aspects of your existence are in harmony with one another. Conscious intention and choice are not only limited to spiritual planes, but are tools that you can use in daily life to transform experiences and influence the direction of your personal path and the soul's journey as a whole, empowering you to take control of every aspect of your life. These principles aren't just for the spiritual, but for everything that manifests in your experience, creating a more purposeful and intentional existence. This moves you out of a position of being a passive participant into being an active creator of your experience. This is not about making choices based on circumstance, but making choices based on your soul's desires. By aligning your personal choices with your soul-level intentions, you can take deliberate steps towards living out your full spiritual potential, making your soul's purpose the driving force in your life. This merger of intention with action creates a powerful path for you to move forward on, creating a fulfilling and purposeful existence. This also brings together all of your experiences into one coherent journey. When your soul's purpose is aligned with your daily actions, you create a life that is both meaningful and fulfilling. This is the true goal of self-mastery, to live as your soul is asking you to. This knowledge is not meant to be just an interesting theory, but a practical guide for becoming an active participant in the creation of your own life, urging you to consciously make choices and shape your experiences by applying this information. This means that you are not merely a passive observer of your life, but the active creator of it. This is about understanding and applying the spiritual laws that govern existence and choosing the path that you desire from a place of intention and choice. By doing this, you bring your spiritual understanding into a very practical experience, creating new and more aligned possibilities. The potential for transformation lies in taking action. This knowledge is here to be activated. The selection of a soulmate in the afterlife is not a simple recognition of a familiar face, but instead a meticulously detailed analysis of energetic resonance, karmic compatibility, and the potential for mutual growth, all meticulously catalogued in the Akashic records. Souls do not simply stumble upon a partner, they delve deep into the vibrational essence of other souls, examining specific traits, patterns, and the potential for shared lessons. It is a purposeful act of creation, a conscious choice guided by an inner understanding that transcends the limitations of the mind and is not a random occurrence. The process is not unlike an architect carefully reviewing blueprints or a musician tuning an instrument, seeking the perfect harmony and resonance. The soul, in its unbound state, examines the patterns and potential of others with the precision of a master craftsman, looking for that exact vibrational alignment that will trigger the most profound growth, a methodical process designed for evolution. This careful evaluation demonstrates that the choice of a soulmate is not a matter of chance, but an act of deliberate and conscious creation. Souls, far from fearing the challenges of the physical plane, often seek out specific polarities and difficulties, consciously choosing relationships that will push them far beyond their comfort zones, triggering profound spiritual breakthroughs. They are not drawn to the familiar or comfortable, but instead are pulled towards those relationships that will act as catalysts, bringing into focus those aspects of the self that need the most attention and integration. A soul may intentionally select a partner who will trigger deep-seated fears or wounds, understanding that true growth is not about avoiding pain, but about facing it head-on with awareness and intention. This is not about seeking out suffering, but about seeking out the most effective path towards growth and healing. It is not a passive acceptance of difficulties, but a deliberate choice for experiences that will accelerate learning. These experiences, even when they are difficult, are chosen from a place of wisdom and should not be viewed as some form of punishment, but as an agreement for mutual transformation. The mechanics of this selection process are rooted in the manipulation of light and vibrational frequencies, with souls attracting specific patterns and scenarios as a result of their unique spiritual signature. This is not about simply thinking positive thoughts and hoping for a good outcome, but about actively shaping the very fabric of reality with intentionality. This process goes beyond the mental or emotional and reaches into the very essence of creation, aligning the soul's vibrational output with the experiences it desires to manifest. As the Kybalion teaches, like attracts like, and on this plane, it is the vibrational resonance of the soul itself that serves as the primary attractant, shaping the experiences and relationships one will encounter. This process works similarly to the way a magnet attracts specific metals, pulling into one's field that which is most aligned. This is a method for creation beyond the limitations of the mind. It's about using your spiritual signature as a source of magnetic energy. This pre-life planning process is a direct reflection of the Hermetic principle, as above, so below, showing how the choices made in the spiritual realm directly mirror the experiences on the physical plane. This isn't a matter of separate realities, but of a unified field of consciousness, where patterns of choice and attraction echo across different dimensions. The selections made in the spiritual world are not detached or isolated, but instead are a blueprint that manifests in the physical plane. Every encounter, every challenge, and every relationship in the physical world are a direct reflection of those choices made on the spiritual plane. The law of cause and effect acts as an unbreakable bridge connecting both realms, showing that personal responsibility extends across all levels of existence. This demonstrates that your experiences are not random, but the direct result of specific choices enacted in your non-physical state. This shows the practical nature of choice in action. Challenging soulmate connections, often misinterpreted as mere misfortune, are in truth carefully chosen agreements for intense and rapid spiritual growth. These relationships, far from being accidental, are instead purposeful setups designed to accelerate the soul's evolution. Souls do not seek out easy paths, they embrace the fire of transformation, choosing connections that will serve as catalysts for the deepest healing. These are not instances of suffering imposed upon the soul, but active collaborations between individuals who seek to grow through both the joy and the struggle of shared experience, and are chosen for the purpose of growth. This is about seeing your relationships not as accidents, but as opportunities for the greatest transformation. The difficult partnerships you encounter are a key aspect of your learning. Such connections act as powerful mirrors, reflecting the hidden aspects of the self, revealing the shadow elements that one often tries to deny. The true purpose is not to suffer, but to engage in rapid learning through facing the denied parts of oneself with courage and intention. These relationships bring into sharp focus those areas that have been ignored, providing an opportunity for awareness and acceptance. These connections are not simply about seeing flaws in another, but about seeing the reflection of your own unacknowledged aspects and using the other as a mirror. When one partner triggers another, it is not about blame, but instead an opportunity to look at what is within, providing the quickest route to self-awareness. This is where the most profound healing can take place. The dynamics of these challenging connections often involve mutual karmic debts, where souls incarnate together repeatedly to address unresolved issues from past lives, weaving together a shared tapestry of learning and growth. These patterns can repeat themselves until the necessary lessons are fully integrated, creating a cycle that must be broken. The core challenges that each relationship presents are not new, but instead are a continuation of unfinished business, repeating the same themes until they are addressed with awareness and choice. Think of these relationships as a dance, with partners repeating the same steps again and again until they learn a new and more graceful way of moving together. This reveals how your past informs the present and how the present can alter the future. Karmic attachments, often seen through the lens of spiritual teachings, are echoed in modern psychological concepts of codependency and unhealthy relationship patterns, showing that the same principles play out in different frameworks. This isn't about labeling or dismissing these patterns, but about seeing how both lenses reveal the same dynamics of attachment and imbalance, highlighting that ancient wisdom and modern psychology are different ways of understanding the same underlying truths. These connections show that karmic ties are not just spiritual concepts, but patterns that are observable in our daily interactions. The human experience, whether viewed through a spiritual or a psychological lens, reveals that relationships based on obligation instead of free choice will lead to suffering. This shows the universal nature of these dynamics. To actively manifest the connections you desire, you can use specific techniques drawn from Hermetic principles, consciously shaping your reality instead of passively accepting a fixed path. These are not mere mental exercises, but practical methods for influencing relationship patterns using mental alchemy and actively shaping the landscape of your life. This involves using intention and energetic direction to move past old karmic patterns, consciously choosing what to attract and what to release. These tools move beyond waiting and give the power to create a more aligned experience, demonstrating that you are not a victim of fate, but an active creator of your destiny. This is the moment you begin to rewrite your old contracts. Visualization techniques, when properly applied, are not simply about creating mental images, but are powerful methods for generating a specific vibrational resonance that attracts compatible connections, revealing that intention is a key component of creation. These visualizations are not simply fantasies, but are a way of directing energy and creating a precise vibrational alignment with the reality you desire. This involves engaging all of your senses to generate a feeling of already experiencing the relationship you wish to manifest. This isn't just positive thinking, it is a focused direction of energy towards a specific goal. The more precisely you can visualize your goals, the more quickly you will manifest them. Intention, the driving force behind all manifestation, acts as a powerful tool for bypassing old karmic patterns and drawing in relationships that are more in alignment with the soul's purpose. This is not about making wishes and hoping for the best, but about deliberately directing your energy and will towards specific goals, creating new possibilities by using your mental focus. This requires a conscious and deliberate approach and the full engagement of your will. This isn't about surrendering to fate, but about choosing your path with consciousness and awareness. You are rewriting your past contracts with each conscious intention. Actively aligning your thoughts, feelings, and actions creates a state of congruence between inner and outer realities, which is the foundation for effective manifestation, transforming you into a magnet for the experiences you desire. If your thoughts, feelings, and actions are in harmony, they will create powerful change in your external world, attracting the relationships that are in alignment with your soul's intentions. If, however, there is an internal conflict, then your ability to manifest will be severely diminished, as your conflicting signals will create inconsistent outcomes. This is a practical method for using intention to become a powerful magnet for positive change and create a more fulfilling life. You become what you embody. Self-reflection practices offer a valuable means for identifying unhealthy attachment patterns that may stem from unresolved karmic connections, allowing you to become aware of how your past experiences are influencing your present relationships. These are not mere historical facts, but living energies that continue to influence your present. This is about looking at the patterns in your life and understanding how they may be linked to earlier experiences. Specific questions such as, where do I feel like I am repeating the same mistakes? Or what am I trying to avoid in my relationships? Can bring these unconscious patterns into the light, providing the basis for awareness. This is where you see the patterns that may be controlling you. The process of shadow integration involves courageously confronting those aspects of the self that have been denied or suppressed, and learning that accepting these aspects has the power to dissolve past karmic patterns. This isn't about ignoring the darkness, but understanding that what we resist persists, and only through acceptance can the shadow lose its power over us. Exploring and integrating the shadow aspects doesn't mean condoning negative behavior, but it is about accepting the fullness of the self, including the parts that may be difficult to face. This process of self-acceptance is key for breaking the patterns that bind you to the past. By accepting your shadow, you begin to embody your full potential. Meditation, a powerful tool for inner exploration, can provide access to your inner wisdom and guidance, helping you navigate challenging relationships and create new ways of connecting with others from a place of clarity. This is more than relaxation, it's a direct line to your soul's knowing, which helps you connect with your inner authority, allowing you to navigate your life from a more centered position and move past unhealthy patterns of dependency. This practice is a method for dissolving the dependency that keeps you tied to repeating patterns and moves you to a space of conscious choice. This process reveals your own inner authority. Recognizing karmic patterns isn't about accepting an unchangeable fate, but rather about understanding the specific lessons that you have chosen to learn, which will empower you to make conscious choices and create new relationship dynamics that are more aligned with the soul's path. You are not a victim of the past, but an active participant in its rewriting, and understanding that these patterns can be changed with intention, awareness, and a commitment to self-growth. The idea is to remove the sense of being stuck and replace it with a feeling of empowerment. This is where you consciously choose a new path for your soul. The power to rewrite soul contracts and to shape your life is not limited to the spiritual realm, but is an active force that you can use to shape your daily experiences and bring your spiritual understanding into a practical expression. The patterns of choice that exist in the spiritual realm are just as potent in the physical, and you can create powerful change by understanding this. This connection between the spiritual and the physical means that the laws of creation are in action across all dimensions, showing how your choices on one level will echo on all levels. This shows that the capacity to choose is not just a spiritual ideal, but a very real and applicable tool that you can use in your everyday experience. Your inner world reflects and creates your outer world. True power comes from the awareness that there are no external limitations that cannot be overcome through conscious choice, action, and awareness, as you realize that the perceived limitations are mostly self-imposed and can be dissolved with understanding. The prison that you may perceive is actually a state of mind, one that can be changed with intention and will. This understanding reveals that you are not defined by your past or limited by your circumstances, but instead are only limited by the beliefs that you choose to adopt. The chains that bind you are thoughts, beliefs, and limitations that you can break at any moment and recognize your capacity to create a more expansive life. You are more powerful than you currently believe. When you consciously align your intentions with your soul's purpose, you attract relationships that are based on mutual growth, respect, and support, creating a future that is guided by choice, not obligation. The new vision that you hold for the future must move beyond karmic debt and into a space of mutual joy and support, moving towards relationships that are based on love, understanding, and mutual evolution. This is the practical manifestation of creating a more aligned future, as you consciously choose to attract relationships that support your spiritual journey rather than hinder it. This is not about hopping for the best, it's about actively creating your best experience. You are not a victim of fate, but a powerful co-creator of your life, with the ability to transform patterns and to create powerful connections that are aligned with your soul's true potential as you move beyond the limitations of past choices. The choices of the past do not dictate your present, nor do they determine your future unless you let them. This realization brings into focus the power of personal agency and reveals that you are not bound to repeat old patterns, but instead are free to create a new path with awareness and intention and use your power of choice to manifest a better experience. You are free to choose again. The intricate tapestry of existence is woven with threads of intention, and among the most significant are the agreements made between souls, often referred to as soul contracts, which are not simply abstract ideas, but meticulously detailed blueprints created for the purpose of mutual evolution. These contracts often involve entire soul families, interconnected groups of spirits who repeatedly incarnate together, each playing a specific role to facilitate the collective growth of the whole. These are not chance encounters, but deliberately chosen partnerships, each soul agreeing to support and challenge the others along their shared journey. Think of it as a finely tuned orchestra, where each instrument, each soul, is essential for creating a harmonious and beautiful symphony, each part contributing to a greater expression of wholeness. These groups are far more than casual acquaintances. They are the core relationships that will push you to your greatest potential, offering both support and challenge with equal intensity. The members of your soul family are not always who you expect. Sometimes they are the people who trigger you the most, because these are the relationships that you need most for your growth. These groups work like a cosmic dance, each member fulfilling a vital role for the entire unit, and it's all by design. These agreements are not vague or general, but often include specific trigger points and challenges, carefully designed to push individuals beyond their perceived limitations, acting as catalysts for rapid spiritual expansion and showing that souls are not seeking comfort, but are instead seeking the greatest possible growth. These are not designed to inflict pain, but instead to provide intense opportunities for transformation. These triggers and challenges can take many forms: the sudden loss of a loved one, a severe illness, or a financial crisis. These are not arbitrary events, but are instead intentional parts of the contract, acting as a kind of spiritual boot camp. These are the experiences where you are forced to confront your deepest fears and insecurities, pushing you to your limits so that you can break free from them. These points of friction are key to your development, because it is in these moments of intensity that you are given the greatest opportunity to learn and grow. This is the path that you chose in order to become your highest expression. However, these contracts are not rigid or unchangeable, but rather are fluid and subject to renegotiation, demonstrating the active agency of the soul, which is not a passive entity bound to a fixed fate, but a conscious creator with the power to alter its path at any moment. This is where the core of personal responsibility comes into play, as you learn to use your power to shift your destiny. Just as a business contract can be renegotiated if circumstances change, soul contracts can also be modified based on the choices made in both the physical and spiritual realms. If you begin to live in a way that is more aligned with your soul's purpose, then your experience will begin to shift as you step into a more authentic expression of yourself. This is where you become the author of your own narrative, not just a character in someone else's story. This is about recognizing that you are always free to choose again and rewrite your path. You can begin to bridge the gap between the spiritual and the practical by recognizing the signs of these preagreements through recurring themes, intense emotional reactions, and repetitive patterns in your present-day relationships, seeing that your current experiences are not accidental, but the manifestations of choices made on a deeper level. These patterns often present themselves as repeated conflicts, unmet needs, or a feeling of being inexplicably drawn to certain individuals. When you feel a powerful pull towards another, or you find yourself repeatedly in similar relationship dynamics, this is a clear signal that a deeper connection is at play. This is where self-awareness becomes a powerful tool, allowing you to see the underlying currents of your life and understand the energetic origins of your relationships. The intense feelings are there to grab your attention and show you the path you have chosen and how to create change. Karmic imbalances are not some form of punishment or retribution, but are instead opportunities for the soul to restore energetic harmony, and in doing so, to achieve a more complete expression of wholeness. This understanding shifts the perception of karma from something to be feared to something to be embraced as a tool for growth and expansion. Think of it as a scale that is out of balance, and your karmic experiences are the weights that are placed on either side to bring it back into equilibrium. It is not about paying a debt, but about restoring the flow as your experiences create a return to balance. These imbalances reveal the areas where you are not fully whole, and the experiences you attract help you to integrate and heal those aspects. This perspective shows that your challenges are not a burden, but an invitation to come into a state of greater integration and power. The debt is simply an opportunity for growth. Karmic attachments often arise from unresolved emotional debts in past lives and manifest in the present as intense, often unhealthy relational dynamics that keep you bound in repeating cycles. These attachments are more than a simple preference for another person. They are energetic bonds rooted in unfinished business that keep you tethered to an old pattern. It's as if you are both characters in an old play, destined to repeat the same scenes until you learn to rewrite the script. These attachments are fueled by an energy that keeps you locked into a particular role, and the more you resist the lessons that are being presented, the more powerful the connection becomes. The intensity of these relationships is a key signal, indicating the depth of the karmic ties. These are not love bonds, but often an addiction based on pain and the illusion of security. These attachments are not just emotional, but are energetic cords that connect souls, creating a system where energy can be drained and where negative interactions are repeated like a broken record. These cords are not literal physical ties, but are energetic channels that can bind you to another person, influencing your emotions, thoughts, and even your actions. It is like an invisible tether that keeps you trapped in a particular dance, even when you know it's harmful to you. These cords are fueled by strong emotions, and the more intense the feelings, the tighter the connection. This is why these relationships can be so hard to break free from, as the cycle of connection is constantly being fueled. The energy of the attachment is what you have to release. Awareness of these karmic attachments is the initial step to dissolving those cords that bind you to unhealthy patterns, shifting you from a place of reaction into a place of intentional creation. Understanding alone is not enough. It must be accompanied by conscious action. It's akin to recognizing a leak in your home. It's not enough to simply know about it. You must take active steps to fix it. Similarly, understanding these attachments is merely the first step. It is your actions that will truly transform the dynamic. The moment that you become aware of these patterns, you begin to reclaim your power and consciously choose to rewrite your experience, breaking the cycles that have kept you bound. This awareness is the first step, but the actions you take are what create true transformation and step out of those old ways. The Hermetic concept of mental alchemy offers a practical method for reshaping these limiting beliefs and patterns, acting as a powerful tool for conscious creation, showing that your mind is not a passive recipient of information, but an active force that can shape your reality. Just as an alchemist transforms base metals into gold, you can transform negative beliefs and patterns into positive and empowering ones, demonstrating the power of conscious thought. This process begins with identifying the stories that you tell yourself about your relationships, as these are the limitations that keep you tethered to your old contracts. This is where you recognize that what you believe creates your experience and gives you the ability to create a new narrative. This method is about moving beyond reaction and into conscious creation. You can utilize your intention to consciously rewrite the agreements that no longer serve you, creating relationships that are more aligned with your highest good, moving beyond the idea of fate and into the space of deliberate creation. Your will is a potent force, and when directed with focus and clarity, it has the capacity to transform the direction of your life. This is not about forcing a particular outcome, but about aligning your intentions with your soul's purpose and creating a path of greater harmony. It is about making a conscious declaration of what you want to create and aligning your actions to support that vision. The contracts you have made are not fixed, and you always have the ability to create new ones that are aligned with your soul's journey. You are always free to choose, even now. The principle of vibration, a core tenet of Hermeticism, can be used to consciously shift your energetic signature, attracting higher vibrational relationships and experiences that resonate with your intentions, showing that what you embody is what you attract. This is not about simply changing your thoughts, but about transforming your inner state of being to embody love, compassion, and joy. It's like tuning a musical instrument. When the strings are properly aligned, the sound that emanates is harmonious. Similarly, when your inner vibration is aligned with your desires, you attract relationships and experiences that resonate with that higher frequency. This requires a process of inner work and a commitment to embodying the qualities you wish to attract. The key is to first be the thing you want to attract. The stories you tell yourself about relationships, about love, about yourself, have a direct impact on the quality of connections you manifest, and when you choose to rewrite those stories, you immediately alter your experience. If you believe that you are unworthy of love, you will attract relationships that reflect that belief, but when you transform that story, you open the door to something better. It's akin to changing the channel on the television. When you choose a different frequency, you receive a different program. This process shows that your inner narrative is not fixed, and that you can consciously choose to rewrite the ending. What you think is what you become. The stories you tell are the key that can unlock your future potential. You must begin to utilize the practice of self-inquiry to truly understand the root causes of your karmic attachments and move beyond superficial understanding to see the deeper lessons and dissolve the power that they hold over you. It's not enough to just know about your patterns, you must learn to truly feel them and understand why they exist. By asking deep, penetrating questions, you bring these patterns into the light, giving you the ability to understand their origins and heal them from the root. You must learn to feel into the core energy behind your experiences, not just mentally categorize them. This is not an intellectual exercise, but a process of deep emotional excavation. Self-compassion is key here. It is not about judging yourself, but about understanding why you have created these patterns. Meditation is a tool that will allow you to access inner guidance, connecting you with past lives to give you a broader perspective on current relationship dynamics, revealing that your present situation is part of a larger story. This is not just about relaxation, it's about consciously accessing a deeper level of wisdom that is within you. Through specific meditative techniques, you can access past life information, gaining greater clarity on the origins of your relationships and the agreements that you made with your soul. It's like reading the previous chapters of a book. It provides context for the current narrative. This will move you out of reaction and into the space of understanding and intentionality. You must be willing to journey into your depths. The practice of cord cutting is not a literal physical act, but is a powerful symbolic and energetic release that will dissolve unhealthy attachments and create space for more aligned connections to enter your life, and will free you from the patterns of the past. This is not about severing a connection with another person, but about cutting the energetic ties that keep you bound to old dynamics. Through specific visualizations and intentions, you can actively release these attachments, reclaiming your personal energy and allowing for a more balanced interaction with others. This release is not about blaming another, but instead about freeing yourself from the ties that no longer serve you, allowing for a new future. This is about releasing the old to make space for the new. Forgiveness, both of yourself and others, is key to dissolving karmic ties and empowers you to consciously choose and rewrite your existing contracts, creating a space for relationships that are more aligned with your soul's purpose. Forgiveness is not about condoning what happened, it's about releasing the emotional grip that the past has on you. It's about freeing yourself from the pain and resentment that keeps you tethered to old cycles. When you release the energy of the past, you create a vacuum for new and healthier experiences to fill that space. This isn't just a spiritual ideal, it's a practical tool that can transform the dynamics of your relationships. True freedom is found in your capacity to forgive. The principle of as above, so below reveals that the changes that you make on the spiritual and inner planes will inevitably manifest in the physical world, creating a powerful feedback loop of positive transformation that ripples through all areas of your existence. The inner work that you do is not limited to your personal consciousness, but it extends into your external world. When you transform your beliefs, release old patterns, and shift your intentions, these changes are reflected in your external experiences and in your relationships with others. The power of the spiritual world is not separate from the physical, but instead, they are part of a unified whole, and what you create on one level will always manifest on the other. This understanding demonstrates that your inner work will always manifest outwardly. Your journey of self-transformation is a powerful act of co-creation. By actively aligning your thoughts, intentions, and actions, you can draw into your life-soul connections that are rooted in mutual growth, respect, and unconditional love, moving towards a future that is guided by choice and not simply obligation. This process is more than just hoping for a better relationship. It is an active method of creating it. It's about deliberately choosing the qualities you wish to experience in your connections and aligning your internal state with those desired attributes. You create the blueprint and then manifest it through your own power. This is an active process that moves beyond dependence on karmic debt and into a future of mutual growth. The key is to consciously choose the type of relationship you want to experience. The pleroma, a Gnostic concept referring to the fullness of divine reality, demonstrates that there is an infinite set of possibilities available, and that souls are actively choosing from an unlimited spectrum of options, not bound by a fixed or limited set of experiences. This is not a realm of limited choices, but one of infinite potential, and every possibility is available to you. Your soul is not bound by any restrictions other than those you have chosen for yourself. This is not about settling for what is, but choosing what can be. The limitations you perceive are not real, they are merely limitations of perception. This awareness unlocks unlimited possibility, and you begin to step into the infinite. The power to manifest your most aligned soul connections is within you, and you are not at the mercy of fate or outdated karmic contracts, but instead are equipped to create change, and you are able to choose at any moment. The past is not an unchangeable sentence. It is a set of choices that you made, and you always have the freedom to choose again. You are not limited by your past or your circumstances, but are empowered by your capacity to choose a new direction. This is not about escaping your responsibility, but embracing the full potential of your co-creative capacity. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are the architect of your reality. You have always had this power. Now you stand at the precipice of a new journey, armed with the knowledge and tools necessary to consciously choose and attract soul connections that are in alignment with your highest aspirations, and to write a new future for yourself. You are not bound by the limitations of the past. You have now claimed the power to create. You can rewrite the stories, release the old agreements, and step into a new future, choosing relationships that are based on joy, love, and mutual evolution. You are not just a passive observer. You are an active participant in your own creation. The journey is yours to create. The soul's journey is not one of wandering aimlessly, but a deliberate navigation through a sea of possibilities. And when it comes to selecting a soulmate, it's a highly calculated process and not a matter of chance encounters. Spirits analyze potential partners based on specific criteria, moving far beyond simple notions of familiarity or comfort. This is not about finding someone nice, but instead about selecting a relationship dynamic that will offer the most profound growth, and each choice is guided by a desire to accelerate spiritual evolution. Souls are actively assessing the energetic signature of another, the potential for karmic balancing, and the type of specific lessons that will be available, not simply looking for compatibility, but for a unique type of challenge. This is a methodical process, as detailed as a master architect planning a new structure. The evaluation is a complex dance of intention and energetic reading, going far beyond the surface to assess the deepest potential for mutual evolution. Souls aren't simply looking for easy connections. They're actively seeking relationships that will trigger hidden aspects and bring shadow elements into the light. The focus is on growth, and these challenges are not seen as something to avoid, but as necessary for expansion and a path to greater self-understanding. The soul understands that it's the friction and the challenge in these relationships that provides the greatest opportunity for true spiritual development. The more difficult the lesson, the more profound the transformation, as these challenging connections are the catalysts for rapid expansion. This is a reframing of difficult relationships, not as a burden, but as an opportunity, chosen for the sake of spiritual growth. This moves beyond the simplistic view of seeking comfortable connections and into an understanding that growth often comes from discomfort. To conduct this thorough evaluation, the soul utilizes the Akashic Records, an energetic library containing all information about every soul that has ever existed. The records provide complete access to the entire history of potential partners, offering detailed information on past lives, karmic patterns, and all potential future timelines. This process is not a mere gut feeling, but a detailed review of the other soul's full history. The records act as a cosmic blueprint, showing how each connection will play out, and this access provides a comprehensive overview of both challenges and opportunities that are embedded within each relationship dynamic. This detailed assessment allows the soul to make choices based on complete knowledge of the other's history, potential, and deepest vulnerabilities. This is a choice informed by all possible data, and it's a process of deliberate calculation. By recognizing these criteria, you can gain deeper insight into the purpose of your own relationships, understanding why certain connections feel familiar or challenging. These are not random meetings, but instead are the result of meticulous planning and deliberate choice, and these are not just arbitrary experiences, but the tangible outcomes of decisions made on the spiritual plane. When you experience an instant connection or a relationship that triggers deep-seated emotional patterns, this is a sign that a soul-level agreement is in play. The familiarity or the challenge is not accidental, but an indication of a deeper purpose embedded within the relationship. This new lens allows you to see beyond surface-level interactions and recognize the profound purpose each connection holds. The process of choosing a soulmate is not a one-time decision, but instead an interactive process involving the conscious use of intention, energetic alignment, and co-creation with other souls. Souls are not choosing from a menu of options, but are actively engaged in a dynamic dance, influencing and shaping their future connections through their focus and desire. It's a collaborative effort, a meeting of intentions where souls actively co-create their shared experience. This understanding moves beyond a singular choice and into a multi-dimensional interaction, showing the active nature of these soul agreements. This process is a testament to the power of intention and the collaborative nature of spiritual evolution, demonstrating that the soul is not just a passive recipient, but an active participant in shaping its path. Souls use vibrational frequencies to attract relationships that align with their current spiritual development. This is the law of resonance in action, where like attracts like on every plane of existence. The vibrational frequency of a soul acts as a magnet, drawing in experiences and relationships that resonate with that unique energetic signature, as every soul broadcasts its particular vibrational pattern, and it will inevitably attract a mirror. This is not simply a metaphor, but a core reality of energetic dynamics, where souls are constantly aligning and connecting based on their specific vibrational output. The type of relationships that you attract is directly related to the specific frequencies you are actively embodying. This shows how important it is to understand and shift your internal state. These choices are further influenced by the assessment of karmic agreements and contracts, with souls actively choosing relationships that allow them to fulfill those pre-existing obligations. This is not about being bound by the past, but instead about consciously working through unfinished business and choosing to create wholeness. The contracts are not limitations, but instead opportunities for growth and expansion, and these are not obligations imposed, but agreements freely entered into for mutual benefit. Souls look at what is required for their growth and deliberately choose connections that will provide those specific opportunities, creating a path for both challenge and transformation. The soul is working with a long-term vision, knowing what it needs to learn and the types of relationships that will offer it. Understanding this process reveals that every connection is not an accident, but the result of a complex interaction between free will and pre-life agreements, and that awareness of these dynamics empowers the viewer. Each relationship is a carefully constructed opportunity for growth and learning, and when you become aware of the intentionality behind each connection, you begin to see your life through a more empowered lens. The awareness itself is a powerful tool, providing clarity and giving you a deeper understanding of the forces that have shaped your current relationships. This is not about being a victim of circumstance, but recognizing the complex interplay between choice and destiny, and using this knowledge as a tool for conscious creation. Each soul emits a unique vibrational frequency or an energetic signature that acts as its identifier in the spiritual realms. This is the very foundation for soul-level attraction and connection, and far more than a simple feeling, this is a distinct and definable energy pattern, like a cosmic fingerprint that distinguishes each individual soul. This signature is the starting point for understanding how connections are made, as these signatures are the keys that unlock specific relationships and determine the type of experiences you will attract. This energy is constantly being emitted, and it acts as a signal, drawing in relationships that are resonant with its unique frequency. This is how you know when you have met someone from your soul family. The resonance is unmistakable. When energetic signatures align, it creates an immediate sense of familiarity and resonance, often resulting in that instant connection. This is not merely a romantic ideal, but instead a recognition of a matching vibrational frequency and a meeting of souls that have a deep connection. It's like two tuning forks vibrating in harmony, where the instant connection is a recognition of a shared frequency. This is more than attraction, it is a signal from the depths of your soul that you are in the presence of someone with whom you have a shared past and a potential future. This resonance is a signal that a deep agreement is about to be activated. This is far more than coincidence. It's a recognition of an eternal connection. This vibrational signature is not static, but is constantly changing, influenced by past experiences, current intentions, and karmic patterns, revealing the dynamic nature of the energetic self. The signature is a fluid expression of the soul's ongoing journey, where every choice, every experience, subtly shifts the vibrational output. This dynamic quality of the energetic signature shows that you are not bound by the past and that your potential for change is always available. It's a continual feedback loop, where your actions and choices shape your energetic signature, which in turn influences the type of relationships that you attract. It's a constant process of evolution, always in a state of becoming. The signature is a map of your journey that shows where you have been and what you are now becoming. When you understand your energetic signature, you gain insight into the type of relationships that you attract, seeing how your inner state of being shapes your external reality. You are a magnet for specific connections, and what you embody internally is reflected in the relationships you manifest. It is not just a passive experience, it's an active process of attracting connections that mirror your inner vibration. This is a direct link to the Hermetic principle, as above, so below, where the inner world creates the outer experience. This also emphasizes your agency to shape your relationships by consciously shifting your internal state, seeing how powerful you are as a co-creator. The key is to recognize that you hold the power to influence your own reality by first influencing yourself. The Hermetic principle of polarity shows how souls intentionally choose relationships that provide a balance of opposing energies, creating a dynamic force of growth. The opposites attract concept is not simply a saying, but a deep esoteric principle where souls seek partners that embody the qualities they are lacking in order to create wholeness. The relationship becomes a dance of opposing forces, where the friction becomes the catalyst for learning and integration. It's not about finding a perfect match, but about finding a partner that challenges you to become more complete, bringing your own shadows into the light and helping you grow through this polarity. The principle of rhythm highlights the cyclical nature of relationships, demonstrating how souls move through cycles of growth, challenge, and transformation, always in motion. Relationships are not static, but instead move through periods of intensity and calm, and every relationship experiences its own seasonal changes, where the periods of challenge and ease are part of a greater rhythm of learning. When you understand that all relationships have their own seasons, you begin to navigate them with greater compassion and awareness, recognizing that the challenges are not personal, but instead are part of the natural cycles of growth. Just as nature has seasons, so do relationships. The key is to understand the rhythm and flow with it. The Hermetic principle of cause and effect reveals that every choice made in the afterlife and every agreement that is made on the spiritual plane will have a corresponding effect on the physical plane, creating a system of accountability. Each decision ripples through both dimensions, creating new circumstances and experiences that will offer further opportunities for growth. There are no choices without consequences, and every decision, every agreement will have an effect. The souls are making their choices based on long-term vision, and they are fully aware of the energetic implications of their decisions, understanding the chain reaction they will set in motion. There is an intention and awareness behind every choice that is made. By applying these Hermetic principles, you can navigate your relationships with more awareness, understanding the challenges and seeing the opportunities that each connection provides. You begin to see the patterns and how these principles are actively playing out in your life, and you realize that your relationships are not simply random, but structured experiences designed for growth and expansion. This is not about being passive, but instead about actively engaging in the process with full awareness. This brings a new level of conscious action, where every interaction becomes a conscious choice. The principles are there to illuminate the path and to empower you with greater understanding. Now that you understand the what and why of soulmate selection, prepare to move into a deeper understanding of the how, where you will learn how to begin to rewrite your own soul contracts and directly influence your relationship dynamics. Now that you know the principles, it's time to explore the practical application, where you will see how to take an active role in shaping your future. The next section will reveal the secrets to dissolving unhealthy attachments and manifesting deeply fulfilling connections, giving you practical steps that you can start to take today. This is where theory becomes practice and where you step fully into your power as a creator. This is not passive information, it is meant to be activated. The next step will show you that you are not bound by your past, and you can step into a new future by actively choosing the types of connections that you want to experience. The future is not a fixed line, but a set of choices that you are actively making, and it's time to use this information to create deep and lasting change. This is not a passive journey, but an active process of co-creation. The knowledge that you have gained is a powerful tool, and now it's time to begin to use it. You are an active participant, and you are not at the mercy of an unchangeable fate. You are the architect of your reality. Remember, the soul does not wait, it chooses, and your personal agency is your most powerful tool for creating deeply fulfilling relationships. Your journey is always a matter of choice, not chance, and you always have the power to rewrite your story. This is not a path of passivity, but one of active creation. The power of your intention is key here. It's time to start using it. Your future is not something that happens to you, it's something that you create. Prepare to dive even deeper into the transformative potential of rewriting your relationship patterns as you move towards a life guided by choice and not obligation. The practical steps that are ahead will show you how to use these principles to create meaningful and lasting change, and you are ready to take the next step. The keys to the kingdom are now within your grasp, and the future is yours to create. The journey is about to become more personal, and the power to transform is within you. The understanding that souls actively choose their relationships is not just a theoretical framework. It's a call to action, an invitation to rewrite the narrative of your life and relationships by consciously altering the soul contracts that govern your experiences. The contracts are not fixed decrees, etched in stone by some external force, but instead are fluid agreements that can be renegotiated with intention, and the power to rewrite these agreements lies within you, utilizing the same mechanisms that created them in the first place. This is not a passive hope, but an active process of self-determination where you are not a victim of circumstance, but a conscious co-creator of your reality. And the path to reshaping your relationships begins with a detailed understanding of how to consciously rewrite these contracts, engaging directly with the energetic fabric of your soul's journey. These methods go far beyond simple affirmations or visualization. These are keys to unlocking a new potential. To actively rewrite a limiting soul contract, you must first approach the Akashic records, the energetic library containing the history of your soul and all potential future timelines. Accessing these records is not a mystical process reserved for the select few, but an ability that can be developed through focused intention and deliberate practice. This is not a passive process of hopping for change. It's an active engagement in shaping your reality. Using visualization, picture yourself entering a grand hall, a place of knowledge, where you are greeted by a wise guide who will assist you in accessing your records, and this is your access to your soul's blueprint. Here, you can review the terms of the existing contract, identifying any limiting beliefs, karmic patterns, or unhelpful agreements that have shaped your current relationships. Through a focused intention, you can then begin to consciously rewrite these limiting clauses and creating new agreements that are in alignment with your soul's highest purpose. You must be specific in your intentions and create visualizations that directly reflect your new desired relationship dynamics. Affirmations should be used to actively install these new patterns, moving beyond simple wishful thinking and into deliberate energetic coding. For example, if you are rewriting a contract that has always resulted in codependent relationships, your new affirmations might be, "I am a complete and whole individual, and I attract partners who also value independence and mutual growth." And in your visualizations, you will focus on what that looks and feels like in a vivid, detailed way. The more specific you are in your intention, visualizations, and affirmations, the more powerfully you engage the records. This process of rewriting contracts involves what we call energetic renegotiation, which is not a magical process, but a shift in your vibrational frequency that changes the story of the original contract, leading to a completely different outcome. Just as a musician retunes their instrument, you can retune your energetic signature. You are working with the very fabric of your being to alter the agreements that hold you to limiting patterns. This is about using your will to choose a different future. By consciously raising your vibration through practices such as meditation, mindfulness, and gratitude, you begin to release the energetic ties to the old agreements. It's a process of active, conscious change where you are choosing a different story and shifting your vibration to align with it. This shift is not a passive waiting, it is a deliberate, intentional transformation where you actively choose to alter your energetic output. Imagine that each contract is written in a unique energetic code, and by altering your vibration, you are rewriting the code and creating a new expression of your energetic pattern. The old contract is not being destroyed, but recoded with a new vibrational signature, and this shift in vibration is what allows for the manifestation of new relationships. This rewriting process is deeply informed by esoteric knowledge, using symbols, rituals, and sacred geometry as energetic keys to unlock new potentials, which is a system of precise energetic manipulation. These are not arbitrary practices, they are the culmination of ancient wisdom that has been passed down through generations of initiates. For example, specific sigils can be drawn that represent the desired new contract, and these can be activated through intention and visualization, acting as energetic codes that reprogram the contracts. Sacred geometry, such as the flower of life, can be used as a tool to align your energy with new contracts, creating a harmonic frequency to assist you. These symbols are not merely aesthetic, they are tools for directly influencing energetic patterns and creating new possibilities. The use of rituals can further amplify your intention and create a container of sacred space for this renegotiation, allowing you to perform the rewriting process in a focused way. The symbols and the rituals are not just window dressing, they are active tools for reshaping your energetic field. These are not practices for the uninitiated, but ancient techniques that have a powerful effect on reality. By using these techniques, you can reshape the limiting beliefs that govern your current relationships and step out of the role of the passive recipient. These techniques are not meant to keep you in a state of spiritual abstraction. They are meant to empower you in your daily life, and every limiting belief is the direct result of old contracts. These beliefs are what create the very limitations that keep you trapped. You must not only rewrite the contract, but reprogram your internal belief systems as well. To do this, you must first identify the belief patterns that are creating the limitations, and then actively replace them with more empowering ones. For example, if you have a belief that all relationships end in heartbreak, you must consciously replace it with a new belief that I attract relationships that are based on mutual respect and love. And then repeatedly affirm this new belief with focused intention and emotion, allowing it to reprogram the old, limiting patterns. The rewriting of contracts is only effective if accompanied by a transformation of your internal beliefs. The contracts and beliefs are intertwined, so the reprogramming must happen at every level. The energetic dynamics of relationships go far beyond surface-level interactions, and often we remain entangled in unhealthy attachments through unseen energetic cords that bind us to repeating patterns of pain and conflict, perpetuating old karmic cycles. These cords are not mental constructs, but real energetic connections that must be actively severed to break free from old patterns. These are not always conscious attachments. They often operate on a subtle level. To sever these cords, begin by bringing awareness to these specific connections that feel limiting, and visualize these cords as energetic strands, connecting you to another person. Using your intention like a sword, imagine cutting these cords at their source, releasing the energetic ties that bind you. The use of symbolism here can be powerfully effective, allowing for the release of these energetic imprints. The cord cutting is not a passive release. It's a deliberate act of severing connections that no longer serve your highest good. Visualization is a key tool in this process, allowing you to dissolve the energetic imprints of past traumas that continue to affect your current relationships by going directly to the source of the wound. These imprints are not simply memories, but energetic patterns that continue to play out in your life. These are not just to be let go of, but instead to be actively dissolved, and the use of visualization can actively transform these old energies. You can imagine these imprints as negative images or patterns, and as you use visualization, you can watch these patterns dissolve into light, being completely transformed, replacing the negative with new positive and resonant patterns. For example, if you are holding on to old trauma from past relationships, you can visualize that trauma as a dark cloud that slowly dissipates into light, replaced by the image of a heart filled with love and compassion. You are not just releasing the old trauma, you are actively replacing it with an energy that is more resonant with your intended new relationship dynamics. This is more than just letting go, it's a process of transmutation. This process of energetic release is deeply connected to the ancient practice of soul retrieval, where you consciously reclaim fragmented parts of your soul, which is an act of restoring wholeness to your being, and these fragments are not lost, but instead are held in the imprints of old traumas and relationships. These are the parts that are yearning to be called back home. When you reclaim these parts, you are able to achieve a deeper sense of integration and wholeness, and you are not broken, but instead simply fragmented, and the process of soul retrieval is a journey back to your wholeness. By actively releasing old energetic patterns, you make space for a greater sense of integration, and this is where the ancient practice of soul retrieval is directly connected to the act of cord cutting. You are calling these parts home and restoring yourself to your full potential. These ancient practices are not relics of the past, but powerful techniques that can empower your present and future. By actively releasing old energetic patterns, you not only free yourself from the past, but also create space for more aligned connections, where the relationships are based on mutual respect, support, and love, not need or debt. This is not just about ending old relationships. It's about intentionally making room for new ones that are aligned with your soul's purpose. This is an act of intentional creation, not passive waiting, as the energetic dynamics of the universe always demand balance and flow, and when you remove an old, limiting dynamic, you inevitably create a space that will be filled. It is not enough to simply focus on what you do not want. You must instead use the power of your intention to attract what you do want, and this is how space is created for new and more aligned relationships. The power of conscious intention is the key to manifesting desired relationships that are aligned with the soul's path. This goes far beyond the concept of law of attraction. it shows how the directed will and intention creates your reality. This is not simply about hoping for a better relationship. It's about actively creating it by directing your intention with clarity and precision, just as a master archer directs an arrow at a specific target. Your intentions should be detailed, including all the qualities that you desire in a partner and focusing not just on the surface aspects of a relationship, but also the deeper qualities such as mutual respect, unconditional love, and spiritual growth. This is an act of conscious creation, where your intentions shape the very fabric of your reality. Your intentions are the architect of the future that is being built. This is a process where you are choosing a specific future, and it is more than just positive thinking. It is the direct application of your will. To further amplify the power of your intentions, use affirmations and visualization to create a clear mental image of the desired relationship, painting a vision with your intention. Your affirmations should be crafted with precision and repeated with feeling, allowing them to become an integral part of your energetic signature. This is not just about saying the words, but embodying them, feeling them, and knowing that the relationship is a done deal. In your visualizations, use the power of your imagination to vividly picture the relationship you want to create, focusing on the specific qualities of that relationship and engaging all of your senses in this creative process. See the interactions, hear the conversations, feel the emotions, and create a detailed image of the reality you want to manifest. For example, you could affirm, "I am attracting a partner who is kind, compassionate, and supportive of my dreams," while visualizing a warm and loving interaction, or imagine yourself in loving partnership already and focus on all the feelings of gratitude. Your soul is an artist, and you are now painting its canvas. This conscious act of creation is not just about attraction, but instead about aligning with the desired relationship on an energetic level. And this is where the principles of vibration and resonance come into play. These are not theoretical concepts, but active tools for attracting what you desire into your life. And by aligning your vibrational frequency with your desired relationship, you essentially become a magnet for it, broadcasting the specific energetic signature that will attract the matching connection. To shift your vibration, you must focus on your inner state and actively embodying the qualities of the relationship that you desire, and that is how you will attract the mirror of that reality. The inner world dictates the outer world. This is not about chasing something outside of yourself. It's about becoming that which you seek, and by embodying the love, respect, and harmony that you desire, you inevitably attract the matching experiences. These techniques allow you to consciously attract relationships that support your spiritual path, and this means taking an active role in shaping your future, choosing partners who will uplift and inspire you rather than holding you back, moving beyond old patterns and actively creating a new vision for the future that is based on choice, not fate. This approach gives you the power to create your relationships by design and no longer by accident. You must fully embody the fact that you are the author of your own story and that your choices have a direct impact on the relationships that you attract. The power of your intention creates a ripple effect, and by choosing consciously, you are actively shaping your future experience. This moves beyond wishful thinking and into the direct application of your will. The application of the Hermetic principles moves beyond abstract theory and into a practical way of navigating relationships, seeing the principle of polarity as not a conflict but a dance. When you understand that opposing energies can be used to create harmony, you learn how to use them to accelerate growth. You no longer see the differences as obstacles, but instead as opportunities for greater understanding and balance, and this applies to the challenges and oppositions that naturally arise in any relationship. When conflict arises, you can recognize the potential for synthesis, moving beyond simply reacting and instead into a conscious act of integration. You will be better equipped to navigate these challenges by recognizing that the dance of polarity is a natural expression of the universe. The principle of rhythm shows the cyclical nature of relationship dynamics, helping you understand that all things move in patterns, and when you realize that relationships have their own cycles, you begin to flow through the ups and downs with far more awareness and ease. This is not about reacting to each change in circumstances, but instead about understanding the predictable patterns and responding with consciousness. When you recognize that relationships are in constant motion, you can begin to navigate them with more compassion, and the cycles are not random, but instead have a predictable ebb and flow. Just as there is a time for planting and a time for harvesting in nature, so too are there natural cycles in your relationships. The knowledge of these patterns allows you to make conscious choices and to navigate the natural rhythms with far more awareness. The principle of cause and effect reveals that your choices, both in the physical and spiritual realm, create a ripple effect, and when you make your choices consciously, you begin to create a more fulfilling reality. Every choice has an energetic consequence, and by understanding this, you can assume responsibility for the impact of your decisions. This goes beyond simply reacting to circumstances. It becomes a way of shaping your life by understanding that every action is a deliberate cause that is setting into motion a chain of energetic effects. You are not a leaf blown about by the wind. You are instead an active co-creator, consciously shaping your reality. The choices you are making in this moment are shaping your future, and this knowledge is one of the most powerful tools that you have been given. By applying these hermetic principles, you can actively shape your relationships, moving beyond the limitations of old patterns and into the active creation of a new vision for your future. These are not just abstract philosophical ideas, but practical keys for creating real and lasting change, which allows you to move beyond the idea of hoping things get better, and instead to actively engage with the process of conscious co-creation. This is the way that you will create a balanced and fulfilling connection, not by accident, but by design. The Hermetic principles are not just a theory, they are a map for understanding how relationships are structured and how you can use that knowledge to create more harmonious outcomes. These are tools for building relationships with consciousness and not by chance. The power to rewrite your story is in your hands right now. Your choices are not limited by the past, and you always have the ability to create new paths, choosing healthier dynamics by rewriting old contracts and actively selecting connections that support your spiritual growth. You hold the keys to create the relationships that you desire. The limitations are not coming from an external force, but instead they are coming from your own limiting beliefs. The chains are created by your own choices. This is a call to release the ideas of being trapped or limited by a past that no longer serves you, stepping instead into the role of the active co-creator. The power is not somewhere out there, it's always been within you. There is no force more powerful than your own will. The only limitations that exist are the ones that you impose on yourself. This is how you escape the prison planet consciousness. You are not bound by some external decree. The power to create your future is not a distant dream, but an active reality, and by understanding these truths, you can move beyond the idea that you are somehow less than your full potential. By understanding that you are an unlimited being, you break all the chains that once held you captive. The concept of a prison planet is only real when you give it your energy. It is not a fixed reality, but simply a choice. Remember, time is fluid, and every moment offers an opportunity to rewrite your story, and the future is not a fixed destination, but a series of paths that are created through conscious choices, so do not get trapped in a linear view of time. This present moment is the only place that power exists. It's the only point where you can take action to create the change that you want to see in your relationships and in your life. You have unlimited possibilities, and you are not bound by an unchangeable fate. The future is a dance of possibilities, and you are the dancer. These tools are not simply spiritual theories, but practical methods for creating real change. These techniques will give you a roadmap for how to create deep and lasting change, And by using these keys, you can create new outcomes in any area of your life, not just your relationships. The power of choice is the key to liberation, and that choice is always available, regardless of the circumstances that you find yourself in. You are the architect of your destiny, and you have been given all the tools you need. The next step is to activate them. You now have the knowledge to understand how souls choose their relationships and the power to rewrite your own contracts and manifest your deepest desires. You have the keys to your own kingdom, and the next step is to use those keys to unlock your potential. You are no longer a passive observer, you are now an active participant in the dance of life. You have all that you need. The next section will reveal powerful tools to maintain these new relationships and continue on the journey of self-discovery and empowerment. This is not the end, but a new beginning, and the promise of future knowledge will keep you engaged and inspired. You are ready to move to the next stage. The soul actively chooses, and you now have all the information to become an active co-creator of your life, not a passive observer, but a conscious architect of your destiny. You no longer need to wait. You can take your place in the center of your creation, and you are no longer bound by old limitations. Take your first step on this transformative journey, knowing that the power is within you to create the relationships you desire and become who you are meant to be, and understand that the next video will give you the final piece that you need to create the future that is waiting for you. You are about to take the next step. The time to act is now. The journey of a soul is not a passive experience, but instead a continuous process of active creation, where each choice, intention, and agreement shapes its path, and the idea of a fixed destiny is merely an illusion of the limited human mind, which is why you must now see yourself not as a passive observer, but as an active co-creator. This entire journey, through all of time, is the direct result of your conscious choices, which shows how the threads of free will and intention weave together to create a tapestry that is constantly being reshaped and redefined. So understand that there is no predetermined fate, but instead an infinite number of possible realities that you actively choose with your every thought and action. Where you are the active artist painting the canvas of your existence, not simply a character in a pre-written story. The choices that your soul makes from a place of higher knowing are the key to understanding the nature of reality itself, and by understanding this, you can shift your perspective and take your place as the architect of your destiny. This is the ultimate freedom. This is not a fixed path, but instead one of infinite possibilities. The process of choosing a soulmate is not a random occurrence. It's a complex and multifaceted undertaking that involves a detailed analysis of energetic resonance, karmic compatibility, and opportunities for mutual learning, which is why you must now see your current relationships as the direct result of soul-level decisions. These are not haphazard meetings, but a very specific selection based on your highest good. The methods of this selection process begin with a comprehensive review of past lives, identifying areas where growth and healing are needed, and then using this understanding to choose soul connections that will provide the optimal circumstances to resolve old patterns and evolve. This planning session, within the Akashic Records, is where the soul carefully considers the energetic dynamics, selecting connections that will serve as catalysts for growth, understanding that these relationships are not simply based on chemistry, but on deep soul agreements made with purpose, as you seek out connections that mirror those qualities within yourself and that act as teachers. This intricate process is not some mystical idea, but a methodical and purposeful event, where the soul seeks out precise experiences for its continuing evolution. Conventional beliefs often portray the afterlife as a passive waiting room, where souls drift aimlessly until they are chosen, but this could not be further from the truth, as the esoteric model reveals that the soul is not a passive recipient, but an active agent making choices and planning its next life with focused intention, and this changes everything about how you see your reality. The conventional view sees the soul as a ship without a sail, but the esoteric view reveals it as the very captain, setting its course with intention and will. And this is not simply a difference in perspective, but a completely different understanding of the nature of reality and your place within it. You are not waiting to be chosen, you are actively making the choices, and you are not drifting aimlessly, you are actively navigating your destiny. So see that this contrast is not merely a nuance, it's the difference between night and day. All the relationships that you are experiencing right now are a direct reflection of your soul's choices and agreements, meticulously crafted to provide the precise challenges and growth opportunities that are needed for your journey, and this means that there are no accidents. The people that you encounter are the results of past lives and specific soul agreements. These relationships act as mirrors, reflecting your own inner world and revealing to you the very aspects of yourself that are ready for healing and evolution. The experiences that unfold are not random events, but instead are the result of a complex energetic tapestry that you have co-created with your soul, revealing the connections between your choices in the spiritual realm and the practical realities you are experiencing in this life. Every meeting, every connection is part of this unfolding pattern. By understanding the cause, you now have the ability to reshape the effect. Life is a continuous journey of evolution, and each relationship is a carefully designed opportunity for profound growth and transformation. And if you now see every interaction as a valuable piece in the puzzle of your soul's overall development, you can now use them for powerful change, knowing that nothing is ever wasted. The soul is constantly learning, evolving, and refining its understanding, and this process is what is driving every moment of your experience, where each encounter, whether harmonious or challenging, provides the chance to develop your awareness and expand your capacity to love. This path is not a straight line. It is a winding road that is filled with moments of joy, pain, challenge, and growth, and each is vital for creating the masterpiece of your existence. This is not a fixed experience, it is a constant evolution. The patterns and cycles you encounter in your current relationships are reflections of karmic agreements from the past, which are not fixed sentences, but instead opportunities for transformation that you actively participate in, showing how the past does not dictate your future unless you allow it to, and that the power to break free from these repeating patterns lies within your awareness, choice, and conscious intention. The patterns that you see are invitations to evolve beyond old limitations, and by taking responsibility for your choices, you become the master of your destiny. The karmic agreements are not meant to bind you, they are instead invitations to rise above them. These are not chains, they are tools for growth. This information is not just a series of esoteric concepts, but the critical framework for understanding your life's purpose, and also for creating meaningful connections based on mutual respect and aligned soul intentions. So understand that your relationships themselves are pathways to the highest version of yourself. When you truly understand the mechanics of soul agreements, you can consciously choose to enter relationships that support your spiritual growth and that act as the foundation for you to fully express your divine potential and your soul's unique expression. And this is not about simply avoiding challenges, it's about intentionally navigating them from a place of awareness and intention. These partnerships are the roadmap for your evolution, and they are not accidents, they are invitations. This understanding will empower you to view your experiences from a place of agency, transforming the perception of fate into a path that you are actively co-creating with your soul. And this means that you are not a victim of circumstances, but an active co-creator of your own reality. So understand that you are not at the whim of external forces. Instead, you hold the very keys to your liberation. This perspective shift allows you to fully step into your power and to take responsibility for your own experiences, understanding that every moment is shaped by your choices. This is not about passivity, it's about active participation. Your life is not something that is happening to you, It's something that you are creating with every breath. The question we began with, is the afterlife a passive waiting game, can now be answered with absolute certainty that it is not, but instead a realm of active choice and planning, where souls meticulously design their next life and relationships, and the power of intention and conscious choice is the very mechanism through which the soul shapes its destiny, and the soul does not wait, it chooses. The afterlife is not a stagnant realm. It is a dynamic space filled with active participation and conscious decision-making, where the soul is actively engaged in its own evolution. The soul is not passive, it's a co-creator. To fully align with your soul agreements, begin by taking the time for honest self-reflection, examining your current relationships, and identifying any limiting patterns or cycles that are preventing you from experiencing a greater state of love and harmony. This journey is not about blame, but about awareness and understanding. And once you bring these patterns into the light of consciousness, you can then use the tools you now have to consciously rewrite these old patterns and create a more fulfilling experience. The power for transformation comes from this first step, the journey of honest self-reflection and the willingness to look at your life with honesty and compassion. It's not about judgment, it's about evolution. There are no external limitations that can hold you back from achieving spiritual growth or creating aligned relationships. The only limitations are the ones that you impose upon yourself, and the keys to liberation and true power lie within your inner awareness, choice, and will. So now is the time to release the idea that you are bound by anything outside of yourself, as you hold the power to create the future that you desire. Your freedom is not granted to you, it is claimed through conscious action. The chains that bind you are made of your own limitations, and you hold the keys to break them all. All the challenges and difficulties that you encounter are actually opportunities for immense growth, designed by your soul to help you expand your consciousness. And by seeing your experiences from this perspective, you will transform any situation through the conscious choice of your response, understanding that nothing is truly bad, only different opportunities. The power to transform any situation lies within your ability to choose how to react to the challenges, as you actively shift from being a victim to a co-creator, and that is where the real power lies. The problems are only opportunities in disguise. Now that you have this knowledge, the question is, how will you apply it? What does your soul's journey look like, and how will you consciously create your path moving forward? This information is not meant to be passive, it's meant to be activated, and the true power lies in the application, in the decisions that you will make. This is more than just an intellectual understanding, it's the beginning of a journey of self-mastery and the intentional creation of your own reality. The true test is not in what you learn, but in what you do with it. This information has broad implications far beyond just personal relationships. It extends to all areas of your life and all forms of manifestation, because the principles that govern soul connections are the same principles that govern the entire universe, and all forms of reality are affected by your choices and intentions, and by understanding the underlying energetic dynamics. You can intentionally create a life that is in alignment with your soul's purpose, and that extends to every aspect of your experience. This is not just about soulmates, it's about the nature of creation itself. These tools can be used to intentionally shape your future in any direction you choose. Take a moment to share your experiences and insights in the comments, and connect with others on this journey, as you are not alone in this process, and this shared understanding can be a source of immense support and inspiration, and the community is here to offer a space for you to share and to learn from others. You have the ability to create a community of like-minded seekers, all walking down the same path, offering insights into how to best navigate the journey of life, and understand that your participation is what will create this powerful resource. There is always more to explore, and this video is only the beginning of your journey, where future videos will expand upon these concepts, offering even more keys to personal empowerment and spiritual awakening. So understand that the path of self-discovery is continuous, and the journey is never truly over. The future content will provide the next steps on this path of conscious creation and further reveal the depth of your own potential and show you how to use these techniques for a greater good. This is only the first step. The path to self-mastery continues, and you are always invited to the next stage of the journey.